So, good evening to everyone. And I think you're sufficiently woken up now. So, I want to ask a question. When I started from Ghaziabad this morning, the AQI was 500 on my phone. What do you think is the WHO norm for a good AQI? Anyone? Okay, 10. Anyone? Yes, PM 2.5, which is the main measure of air pollution, is 5. So I'll tell you a story. We went to South Korea, and my colleague comes from South Korea. And we had just gone from Delhi, which was already 450, 400 or so. And the AQI in Incheon, where we were staying, was 25. And we were so happy, 25, couldn't believe it. But the Korean press was showing a lot of objection from common citizens, saying, what is going on, the government is not working, we are not doing anything, this is not good for the future generation, etc. Because they were comparing it with the WHO norm. They were saying that we need to reach the WHO norm. So to a large extent, my conclusion is that your AQI is what you ask for. And if you're not asking for WHO standard, and Government of India standard, by the way, standard is 50. Okay? So our standard is 50. So the Government of India is saying 50 and we are not even asking for 50, then something's missing. So with that, let me do a bit of promotion of our organization. So I come from Asian and Pacific Center for Transfer of Technology. I don't know if this works. Works? Oh, okay. Can you help me do that? Yes. Okay. And just do the cursor. Okay. So I'll run through this very quickly. APCTT was established in 1977 in Bangalore. It is the only UN agency responsible for transfer of technology in Asia Pacific. So we have 5 regional institutions. APCTT is the only one which helps in transfer of technology. And we work in 52 ESCAP countries across Asia and Pacific, plus 9 associate members, so totally 61 countries is what we work in. Okay? And in 1993, the office shifted to Delhi, and we are housed in Qutub Institutional Area. Our mandate is to develop and manage national innovation systems, transfer and apply technologies, improve the terms of transfer of technology, which means that make sure that countries know what terms of trade to ask for, and promote and transfer technologies relevant to the region. We have 3 main areas of work. One is technology innovation and scale up. Second is support countries develop enabling policies. And third is enhance cross-border cooperation. And we do this for the past 3 years. We have focused on climate technologies, and how we define these are transition to renewables, pollution control, primarily air pollution, climate resilient infrastructure, because as climate change is happening, a lot of seasonal events. Can you hear me? No, you can't. Okay. Now? Can you hear me? Okay. Maybe I turn this off here. So, climate technologies and transition to renewables, air pollution control, climate resilient infrastructure, which means how do we prepare ourselves for the climate events that are happening. So there are floods, heavy winds, etc. How do we prepare our cities and our habitations for that? And the fourth is digital and fourth industrial revolution technologies. Okay. These are our 4 areas of focus. And we do this through 4 areas, through 4 measures or modalities, as we call them. We provide policy and analytical support to countries. We help doing knowledge management. We build capacities, and we also support technology facilitation and partnerships, basically buyer-seller meets, etc. So we are a specialized institution, trusted and known partner since 1977, a neutral platform. We don't belong to any particular sect or any particular section. We are regional by design. We have specialist knowledge across priority technologies, and we also, as a UN body, our basic role is capacity development and convening even opposing factions to come together and sit on a table. That's our basic role. So we do that. We have 4 flagship programs. One is Technology and Innovation Conclave. We have just finished Technology Conclave 2.0. The 1.0 was on energy storage and green hydrogen. We brought together about 90 policymakers, young innovators. There was an exhibition of innovators which was organized, and policymakers. So that was 1.0. 2.0 was focused on AI for climate action. Again, we had innovators from 11 countries who showcased technologies related to using AI for climate action and resilience. Our second flagship is a community of practice on climate technologies. This is a community which is open to everyone, and it is individual membership. It is not based on your institution. And what we do is we follow a query response report cycle, which means a member raises a query. And for example, the latest query that is running is on air pollution technologies right now. So the previous one was on urban heat and so on. So these queries are responded by other members. We also, as the UN, add research to that, and we produce a report, which we call consolidated report, which are all available on our website. So every month we pick up 2 key issues which are raised by members, and we run a dialogue on that. And this is all virtual. Our third flagship is Asia Pacific Technology Transfer Platform. And here what we want to do is we want to provide a platform for anyone who's looking for any kind of technology to come to this network and say, I'm looking for this technology. And anyone else who wants to provide that technology to respond, and then they take it forward among themselves in terms of trade. So what will be the royalty, etc., all that they manage. We don't get into that. But we just provide a platform for people to come and meet each other. Okay, we have a number of knowledge products. We have a quarterly magazine called Tech Monitor. We have published various compendiums, including one on compendium of technologies for air pollution control. This is the consolidated replies, the product that comes out of our community of practice. And we'll be launching shortly an e-learning module, again available to everyone, on intellectual property management, and a second one on TTOs. Yeah. Okay, a lot of international conferences, etc., that we do. And we also have, one of the new initiatives we are taking is called INET, and IVCA has participated in that. Basically, Investors Network for New and Emerging Technologies. How do we get investors associations involved in promotion of new and emerging technologies? Yeah. And the second initiative that we're taking is called Sankalp Lecture Series. The first one will be a lecture by Dr. Somnath, who led the Chandrayaan-3 project. And he's going to tell us his story of how they were able to convert failures into successes. Yeah? Okay. Now, coming to air pollution. We had a project which covered 3 cities and 3 countries, Bangkok, Dhaka, Gurugram. And, okay, so I'll skip this. Nearly 600 city officials and national policy makers, we built their capacities on what are the various sources of air pollution, what are the technologies, etc. Then the compendium of air technology is built. We did a contextualized analysis of each city. What are the technologies that are being used? What is the status of policies, national as well as municipal corporation policies? And how can these be strengthened? Then there was an exposure to advanced technology to Republic of Korea. That's the trip I was talking about. And then an assessment of city action plans and what are the gaps in that, as well as we did a regional workshop on the major learnings. So what are our key learnings from this whole program? One is all 3 cities showed very high levels of air pollution, extremely high. And controlling air pollution was a priority for all of them. Urgent areas which they identified were vehicular emission, industrial emission, transitioning from diesel to electric. That means changing a fleet from a diesel to electric. For example, Korea replaced all their public buses to electric buses, which is what Delhi is also trying to do now. Burning of agriculture waste, control of dust, as the previous speakers have talked about, enhancing green cover in all cities, integrating machines and solid waste management. Okay? So broadly, the issues that we face in India are same as what Bangkok faces or same as what Dhaka faces, but there are slight variations. For example, in Bangkok, the key concerns are transport, industrial, agri-waste, road construction, and street food. Yeah? And critical technologies for them would be diesel particulate filters, electric vehicles, remote vehicle sensors, low-cost sensors, and continuous emission monitoring stations. And critical priority areas would be retiring old vehicles, EV incentives, etc. And it's a similar thing across. In some countries, in some cities, the priority would be brick kilns, for example, Dhaka, while in others it would be, the technology to be used would be water fogging or intelligent traffic management, etc. These are the publications we brought out. I just want to spend a few minutes on the technologies, and I want to talk about opportunities for investment. There is no dearth of technologies available. It's not like we have to invent new technologies. Many of the technologies for air pollution monitoring, emission control, or removing air pollutants from the air, they're already there. I think the issue is how do we make sure that each country is able to indigenously produce these technologies, and how can they make sure that their private sector is able to produce these at a low cost. I give you an example. Most of the low cost air quality sensors that we get, remember low cost, they come from China. Yeah, 90% come from China. But because you are buying low cost, you are also assured, I should not say that, assured of low quality. Okay? So some air quality sensors in Gurugram, they were showing an AQI of 50 at a time when it was really 500. Right? So important thing for a country is to make sure that you create an ecosystem where government, investors, etc., they are able to invest in creating indigenous capability to produce these. Yeah? So for me, that is a major learning, that industry says or investors say government policies are not good, how can we invest, etc. Government says private sector is not interested in this. And the average consumer is saying, AQI kitna ho raha hai bhai? So I don't know why we are not able to coordinate this entire investor, government, citizen triangle, if I may say, to arrive at a technology, at a situation where we can have an improved technological services which are available off the shelf. If I want to know what is the AQI in my room, I have to buy the lowest air quality monitor that I can buy on Amazon is about 250 rupees. Okay. So I don't know if everybody would like to buy that. So how do we make them cheaper, more easily available? Technologies are available. Government is aware of them. The citizen or I would say the child who's facing air pollution every day is suffering. So I leave you with that thought. Thank you.